How you guys doing again? This is Stan Banks from T-Shirt Side Hustle. Again here, chasing my dreams, and you guys have been watching me chase my dreams. So when I saw this graffiti artist add your dreams to the Chase logo, I had to make a version of it for you guys to see, and you're about to watch me make this shirt from start to finish, all the way from creating the design in Illustrator to transporting it out to a PNG file, putting it in a silhouette, and pressing it up. Also, I showed you guys how to create a mock-up. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stop right now, hit that like button. Let's get to it. So right now I'm about to work on one of the T365 designs, which is Chase Your Dreams. If you haven't seen this graffiti that was done to the Chase Bank logo, I'm taking that, I'm flipping it and putting it onto a shirt. So today we're going to be using some vinyl from the Thermoflex Guy over on Instagram. He sent me some packages and I found a perfect use for a sheet of the white. And I'm not sure if this is the exact blue, but it's the closest blue. And we're going to use this blue to complete the design with the Chase kind of logo. And we're just going to run it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Right now, I am designing something based off of the graffiti tag that went with the Chase logo, which said Chase Your Dreams. And here's a screenshot of it. And here's this of it as well. So what I'm going to do right now, the first thing I'm going to do, I am going to go ahead and open up Chase's logo. And I got this from Brands Around the World, I believe it is. Just a website that has all the major company logos. So instead of having to redesign and remake it, I just go ahead and do it myself. So I just go ahead here. And I don't like the color of this. It's a little bit off to me. So I'm just going to switch it up real quick. Because I'm going to keep this in the logo. Probably go with something like that. I could get the correct color. I think it's a little darker than that. Could get the correct color from the internet. But, you know, we're just going to finesse it here. Okay, we're going to start with that. All right, now the next two words are yo, and then dreams. It's going to be a real simple flip. And we're just going to go ahead and blow these up. And I'm just going to select my two fonts. And my two fonts are Don, D-O-N, Graffiti, and I think I'll go with this one. I think this one fits better. Let me see something. All right. I'm gonna see if it looks better in capital or lowercase. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead with this and blow this up real quick. Boom. And this comes right here technically, and then the dreams just fits here under that. So this is kind of what it looks like, and it has it all to the side. But I'm going to group this. I'm going to center everything. Create outlines. I'm going to center everything. Ooh, that wasn't good. This one isn't good. Now I want to center everything. Wow, so it's all centered. Okay, now we're going to just maximize the size of that. I think I'll leave the yo that size. Kind of want to do something. I want to actually go ahead I'm gonna do a little bit of a flip up with it. So I'm gonna ungroup this. And I'm going to just play with these letters a little bit. Boom. A-M-S. Boom, boom, boom. So I think, let me see, blow this up just a little bit. See what we look like. I just wanted to play with it, just a hair. I don't know. Maybe not so much. I wanted it to look a little bit like graffiti so that it wasn't like kind of like, hey, I am just typing you across. I wanted to look a little big, a little small, a little unorthodox. And yo, wow. All right, so I think that looks good. So now that we got the design done, I'm just gonna make a quick mock-up on a black and white t-shirt. So the very first thing we need to do is kind of like just place our design on here, and because it's a black shirt with the black words, we're gonna just do it the easy way. I'm gonna make a new layer. I'm gonna paint white, and I'm gonna make that layer a clipping mask so it only shows where the design is. Now I'm just adjusting the blue. If you guys know, I didn't really like the blue that was there, so just gonna try to find a blue that I like to make it look good, nice and Colombian. I paint that over it, and then we're good to go there. I'm also just gonna like skew it just a little bit to make it look a little bit more realistic by moving one of the sides out, kind of like on the angle that the shirt is kind of working on as well. Right now I'm playing with the blending modes to see if I can make it just look a little bit better. I'm just gonna stick with the normal, which is this is fine to show the idea. Still looks realistic on the realistic mockup. All right, I'm gonna save this as a JPEG. It's black, and then we're gonna pull in our white design. Sorry, our white T-shirt mockup, and I kind of put on the wrong layer. You can see how that clipping mask affects. It affects what is actually going on. So I'm trying to size it up correctly so they look kind of like accurate, the same. And now I needed to just fix that real quick. And we're just gonna go ahead and work on the actual mock here and save that. And now I need to go ahead and now actually fix up the white version of it by copying it. Now that I got everything lined up, I'm just gonna copy the black layer, and we should be pretty much good to go. So now that this bad boy is all ready to go, don't forget you guys can head over to Mockup Capital on Instagram or mockupcapital.com and get yourself some realistic looking mockups for your designs. So now I'm going to head over and get this design cut ready. Right now we're about to open up our file, Chase Your Dreams, and we're going to open up the PNG file here. And then we're going to get it ready for trace. Select trace. Sorry, we're gonna get it ready for cutting. All right, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, and I'm gonna adjust just a little bit on my threshold to get it to be a little bit better here. So yes, I took some of that. See how some of these particles here, oops, is on 45. So it starts on 45, and you see how some of these like edges here. So I just adjust the threshold until I get it to the point that I like it. About right there. See now some of they all disappeared here. So then we're just going to trace it. And we know, all right, so I'm going to put on a black shirt. So it's just going to be, I'm going to cut the full thing, and then we're going to cut this this little piece here again. So I'm going to ungroup this, or just release compound path. Okay, and I'm going to group this. And this is going to be what we cut in the color of like that blue. And I can delete the rest of this. I like to leave this in the file. Delete the rest of that. And this is going to be all going to be in white. Okay. So we look here, and now one thing I say is when you separate stuff, you gotta readjust them together. So if I'm gonna stretch this out to be the maximum size, I need to stretch them here together so that way that these two remain the same size. So now I'm going to flip horizontally. I'm gonna flip this horizontally as well. I don't know if it matters, but definitely is gonna make a difference if we don't. Okay, so boom, now we got it ready to cut. So now I'm gonna get it ready. Now I'm gonna send it to the cutter and you guys can watch it cut. So today we're gonna be using some white and some Colombian blue from the Thermoflex Guy. We're on Instagram. You guys can go check out his Instagram. He sent me these samples and I finally get to make something with them. So this is not actually the first design that I plan on making, but this will be the design that I'll make first. So we're using some white, okay? And we're just gonna line it up here. I think it's a perfect 12-inch sheet, which is always good. Boom, boom, okay. And I'm gonna shrink my design just a hair because sometimes, you know, you end up being a little bit off and I don't want to mess up my cut. So I'm gonna shrink it down just a tad here. Boom, move this over here. And I'm gonna shrink it just a hair so it's away from the edges. Okay, so not much of a change. I just want to make sure that, you know, as you can see, I'm off just a little bit, you know, so I just want to make sure that I'm good cut-wise, and that looks great. So I'm going to cut this on the same exact settings that I use for Caesar, which you can go to the website and find tshirtsidehustle.com, and under the tab there, you can find Stan's cut settings. And I'm going to load this bad boy in, and I'm just going to cut standard easy weed vinyl. So the cut settings I'm using is a blade depth of 3, a speed of 8, and a force of 6, and that's pretty much my standard. If something has a lot of detail, then I'll slow it down, but for this, we should be fine. And we're gonna go ahead and it says ready, and we're gonna send it to the cutter. Okay, so now that we got that queued up, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to weed this, but I have my other design ready to cut, so I'm gonna go ahead and load the blue onto the sheet. And that looks good. And we're going to go ahead and load it and send that to the cutter. That was very fast. Unload. And we have both of our cuts ready to go. And we're gonna get ready to weed and press. Okay, so one thing that I'm gonna say to you guys that you should always do is cover this sheet back up so you keep it from getting dirty. So I like to do that anytime it's not used, just in case it falls on the floor, does something like that. So we're just gonna get that ready. Now we have our weeder, and we're just gonna weed our design. Start from the very corner, and we're just gonna weed it back. And we're gonna not hold anything back. This is a sticky back, which is always good because if you mess up or you pull something up, you can put it back down. It feels very, very thin. You know, same as Caesar does. It does feel a little bit different, but nonetheless, as you guys can see how easy that weeded. Notice I said how easy that weeded, not easy weed. But anyway, not the best light down here yet, so we'll be fixing that very, very soon. I'm just gonna go out and go ahead and weave our inner cavities here. Now, this vinyl presses at 320 degrees, so that is our base design there. And I'm gonna cut out, let's find it. I have something else planned for this here, so I weeded out the corner, and then we're just gonna go ahead and weed this. Now, because I am not placing it over top of each other really. So because these designs don't overlap at all, the colors won't overlap, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna place this so now it'll end up being a one press, and I know that this will be lined up perfectly. So we're just gonna go ahead and line that up on this sheet and tack it down just by pressing on it because it's sticky back. So now we can press our 2-color design with one press and know that our second color will be lined up perfectly with our design. So waiting for the press to get up to 320, and we're gonna go ahead and press it. We have our design ready, we have our t-shirt ready. This is gonna be our very, very first time using this 15 by 15 HPN Craft Pro. So let's get to the pressing. A lot of people wanna know how I line my shirts up, and I have some future videos coming, and if they're ready, I'll make sure I link them up for you guys. But pretty much, the way that I load my shirts is I load mine like I'm screen printing it because I started with screen printing. A lot of people take their shirt and they'll lay it facing them and they'll try to decide if it's straight or not based on how they see it. The whole key, no matter which way you lay your shirt down, is the shirt has to be straight for it to work, period. If your shirt is on here crooked and you look at this square, say the collar's hanging off, you can't see the collar. So if you look at this straight, you line the design up, and this design is, let's say, straight. Now it's 120% straight, and you press it. If the shirt is crooked, everything's gonna go out the window, okay? So the key to lining up any shirt, I don't care what tool you're using, I don't care if you're doing it by eye, is to line the shirt up straight. Now, what I like to do is I do it by hand and feel. So I'm looking to feel the seams of the shirt here, and I'm kind of like lining my fingers up at the same points to make sure that I feel the seams exactly the same on both sides. Again, if you aren't a screen printer, you're probably gonna load your shirt facing you, but I like to load my shirt facing the opposite way, like I'm screen printing. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but they say anybody in the forgery, like forging signatures and stuff like that, they need to see the thing upside down. They don't see the actual handwriting. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but for me, it's 120% easier to line things up the opposite way because I can't see the design. Now I can just actually feel the design really doesn't make sense to me if it's upside down. Okay, so I'm filling again on both sides. And one of the reasons that I think this is a great press to start out with is because I get to work away from this heating element. I have full access to the square, and I'm not directly under it. So if I was to be lining this up here and I go to put a design trying to tweak this, you see how close my knuckles are to the heating element. And this has a great mouth whether you have it open or not, but being able to just slide this out here and see is 120% better. All right, so now I think I got it all lined up straight. The seams feel exactly the same on both sides, okay? And I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna put it on, and I'm gonna first check the depth here. So I like to be about 3 inches to 3.5 inches. For me, it comes out to be 4 fingers here, but again, we're gonna measure 3 inches on our tape measure, and look at that, 3 inches perfect, okay? So as you can see, let me get a close up. So that's right at 3 inches. And if I put this on the edge, it's right at the top of my S. So now I know that I'm at the correct depth or correct distance from the collar, which is just barely hanging off of the edge. So the next thing I like to do is I like to use my fingers and match my fingers on both sides. So I can feel like maybe half of my index finger is off on this side, and I need my half of my index finger to be off on this side in order for it to be centered. I need it to match on both sides. And this is the way that I do everything. Now, on the other hand, I could go, hey, let me measure this. This one is 2 inches here. And I can flip it over here and say, I just actually moved it over a little bit. I need to move it back a little bit. But the key here is you want to take the widest points of your design to line it up. Okay, so let me fix that because I kind of knocked it off a little bit. Go with it right there, and I'm gonna go with it right there. All right, and boom, boom, looks good. Okay, so now to me, I know that my distance here is good, and on the sides, my distance is good. And again, I'm using my hand. I just wanted to match on both sides. And you can use a tape measure, or you can say, hey, my design is exactly 11 inches. This is a 15 inch. So if I take that 15, subtract 11, then that should be 4. And I should say, it's 4 inches left. I divide that in half, and it should be 2 inches on each side. Whatever your design is there. Let me make sure this is not a piece of vinyl here. Maybe just a piece of lint or something. Okay, so that's kind of it. And it passes the eye test for me now, okay? I'm looking at it. It looks straight. So again, I'm going to go ahead and press her down. And we're going to watch this go. And I really like how smooth this is. And again, I can't say it enough. The slide out feature alone on a entry level press at this price point makes it a winner, okay? And I like to just hold the bottom of it down as I open it. Again, I'm really, really high on pressure. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hot peel. All right, so here's our design. And again, this white is pressed on top of the sheet that covered the blue. So now we have our Chase Your Dreams shirt. And if you have a little box around it, because I didn't have a Teflon sheet with me today, I'm just going to press the bottom of this shirt as well with a slight press. Almost forgot to slide it back in here. And give it a slight press to just even out the pressing. And that'll be all she wrote. Hey man, I definitely like what that graffiti artist did, so I had to make my own flip of it. Chase Your Dreams. You can pick this shirt up if you want it over at Gourmet T-Bar. If you learned anything down below, or you have some pointers or tips, or do you line your shirts up a different way, let me know down in the comments below. This has been your boy Stan Banks, chasing my dream on YouTube and in real life. Peace.